We have a problem here. It's called a quarry problem. And in this one, it's used by a contractor to keep track of his costs. He sends trucks into the quarry to pick up quartz, marble, or granite, and does it all day long. And at the end of the day, he wants to know how many tons of rock was moved by each for each type of material, and then how much each of those materials cost him, and what the total amount is at the end. So if we take a look at here, we want to know total tons of each type of rock, total money owed for each type of rock, and then the total for the day. So then we start with the output. So if we just go ahead and take a look, and I'll just go ahead and copy each of these, and then we'll change it. So I'll bring this down, and he wants to know total tons of each rock, each type of rock. So the first thing we have to determine when we're taking a look at this is, does that represent one value? And it does not. It represents three values because there's three type of rock. So I'm going to do, instead of total tons for each type of rock, I'm going to say total tons quartz. And then I'll go ahead and copy and paste that twice because there's three types of rock. And then this second one will be marble. And the third one will be granite. Okay, and then it says total amount of money owed for each type of rock. And we have the same issue there because there's three types of rock. So that'll be money, quartz, money, marble, money, granite, and then total money. Alright, so now we have everything they want out. We can get rid of this stuff here because I don't need it. So now that we're doing loops, we have to do something else before we move this to where it needs to be. Of course, all of these are calculations, but I don't want to just take these and camel them and then copy and paste them, because what I want to do next is I want to determine if any of these are accumulators or counters. So accumulators simply accumulate values, and counters move things by one. And if we take a look at the total tons, quartz, marble, and granite, we'll see that all three of those are going to be accumulators, because I'm going to get a truck that brings in 10 tons of quartz, and then I'm going to have another truck that brings in 5 tons of quartz. So that total tons is now going to be 15 because it's accumulated 10 and 5. Another truck comes in with another 10, and now I've accumulated that 10, and now we have 25 tons of quartz. So total tons of quartz is going to be an accumulator. So I'm going to not call it total tons quartz. Instead, I'm going to call it quartz accum. And then I'm going to do the same thing for each of these other types of, since these are accumulators. Whoops. I want each one of them to have the suffix of accum, and because that's what they are, and we wanted to identify them in our code that way. So now I'm going to copy all. Well, I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is camel each of these. Okay, move down the marble, and money, granite, and total money. Okay, now that they're all cameled, I'm simply going to copy them. Whoops, sorry. Copy them where they need to be and paste them into the calculations. All right, and then now I'm just going to have to start from the bottom, work my way up. So total money is simply the addition of these three monies. So I'm going to say if I take money quartz and add it to money marble and add this to money granite, then I'll know how much total money I have. So now I have to go down and figure out, well, how am I going to do the money for granite? And that's going to be granite accum, which is the total weight of what we've moved, and I'm going to multiply that by the granite rate. Alright, so that works out well. And I'm going to do the same thing with marble. We determine that by taking the total weight of marble and multiplying that by the marble rate. And then our money quartz is going to be the amount of quartz we moved times the quartz rate. Alright, so now I have these three, and the rates don't change every time we run our program. So I'm going to copy that and put that into our assumptions. And marble rate, and granite rate. Okay, and then the rate for quartz is 1,000, and the rate for marble is 1,500. Notice I have no equal signs, no dollar signs, and no commas because that's text. And if I put them in there, then my math won't work. All right, and now the accumulator down here, the math, and this is the easiest math to do because granite accum is going to be equal to granite accum plus AMT amount of tons. All right, and then this is going to be similar each time. And granted, it's not going to be granite accum for this one. It's going to be quartz accum equals quartz accum. So I'll go ahead and copy and paste that. And this will be marble. All right, so that's all done. Last thing is amount of tons. And that's going to be my input. And then we also going to need to know the type of rock. And the type of rock is going to be quartz, marble, or granite. So we can see that in each of these we're going to be adding the amount of tons, but I don't want to add the amount of tons every time to the accumulator. I only want to add this amount of tons when it's quartz. So it means we're going to have to make some decisions. So we're going to have to say if type of rock, so let's go ahead and copy this whole thing. If type of rock equals quartz, and we actually don't need that either. Okay, if then we're going to do the quartz one. And then we'll say else, and then I'm going to copy this, and actually, what am I missing here? Our quartz is going to have to be in quotes. All right, so I'll go ahead and copy this, paste it here, and then this one is going to be marble. And we'll move this over. And this last one is, you could say, well, it could be else, but we're going to make it another else if. And I should say if. Else if granite. And the reason why we're going to be doing an else if here, because we want to test for all three. Then when we do the flow charting, we're going to do error checking and error trapping. So if they type in marble with 2 R's, that it won't automatically be granite. right? And then if that is true, we're going to do that. So we have now finished our, let's go ahead and do one more thing in our assumptions. Only 3 types of rock, only 1 day of work, and only 1 contractor. All right, so we want to make sure that these are all, because our solution only works if these are true. All right, that's it for this one. Next time we'll go on to our flowchart.